Imagine waking up to news of an imminent explosion at Yellowstone National Park. An event so catastrophic, it could potentially devastate the American landscape. Just a few days ago, the tranquility of Yellowstone was shattered by a surprise eruption of steam. This wasn't your average geyser display. It was a hydrothermal explosion, an event that launched rocks, steam, and debris into the air, obliterating the boardwalk in its path. But what exactly is a hydrothermal explosion, you may ask? Well, beneath the scenic vistas of Yellowstone, there's a complex natural plumbing network. Sometimes these passageways get clogged and pressure builds up. When the pressure becomes too much, it results in a violent explosion, just like the one that occurred recently. These eruptions can occur without warning, catching everyone off guard. Only 2 days after this event, park officials had to close the site of the explosion due to the risk of additional smaller eruptions. The steam and debris from the initial explosion were still a threat, and the potential for more explosions loomed. Now, it's important to note that these hydrothermal explosions are different from volcanic eruptions. They're caused by the transition of water to steam in the hydrothermal system, not by volcanic activity. However, they're no less dangerous. In fact, these explosions pose a significant safety concern for visitors and park officials alike. While these recent eruptions have been relatively small, they serve as an ominous reminder of the colossal power that lies beneath Yellowstone. To understand the potential threat, we need to delve into the science of Yellowstone's volcanic activity. At the heart of Yellowstone's volcanic activity is an enormous magma chamber, akin to a giant underground lake of molten rock. This chamber is located about 5 to 10 miles beneath the Earth's surface and extends over 40 miles in width. The heat from this magma chamber powers all of Yellowstone's geothermal features, including the geysers, hot springs, and hydrothermal explosions. A key player in Yellowstone's volcanic activity is its hydrothermal system. This system is like a complex network of natural plumbing within the Earth's crust that transports heated water from the magma chamber to the surface. When this heated water finds an outlet at the surface, it results in the beautiful and well-known geysers and hot springs we see today. However, when these passageways become blocked, the heated water can't escape to the surface. The pressure builds up until eventually it becomes too great, leading to a hydrothermal explosion. These explosions can send rocks, steam, and debris high into the air, as we've seen with recent events in the park. Predicting these hydrothermal explosions or any volcanic activity in Yellowstone is a significant challenge for scientists. Despite sophisticated monitoring systems, the timing and size of these events remain largely unpredictable. This is due to the complex nature of the hydrothermal system and the many factors that can influence an eruption, including changes in pressure, temperature, and the physical characteristics of the underground passageways. The unpredictable nature of Yellowstone's volcanic activity is precisely what makes it so menacing. History has given us a glimpse of Yellowstone's explosive potential. To truly comprehend the power lurking beneath this majestic park, we need to look back at its past eruptions. Yellowstone's volcanic activity is not just a thing of the distant past. In fact, the most recent significant hydrothermal explosion happened in 2009. This event, though not a full-blown volcanic eruption, was a stark reminder of the unpredictable and powerful forces at work beneath the park's surface. It sent steam and debris high into the air, destroying a nearby boardwalk and ejecting rocks. Thankfully, no injuries were reported, but these recent events are just the tip of the proverbial iceberg. Yellowstone's past is punctuated by 3 incredibly massive volcanic eruptions. The first occurred about 2.1 million years ago, the second happened about 1.3 million years ago, and the most recent took place approximately 640,000 years ago. These eruptions were so large they left significant calderas, or volcanic craters, that we can still see today. These past eruptions have left indelible marks on the landscape and serve as a stark warning to us. Each of these eruptions spewed immense amounts of volcanic ash and gas into the atmosphere, impacting the climate and ecosystems. They reshaped the landscape, creating the unique geological features we see in Yellowstone today. But it's not just the physical changes that these eruptions caused that should concern us. The potential human impact of a similar eruption today is almost unimaginable. With millions of people living in and around the potential fallout zone, the human cost could be staggering. These historical eruptions tell a tale of a sleeping giant that, if awakened, could unleash unimaginable destruction. Now, Imagine a scenario where Yellowstone doesn't just rumble, but roars. Picture a colossal eruption, a mega-eruption that dwarfs anything we've seen in recorded history. This is not just a theoretical possibility, it's a real concern for scientists studying Yellowstone. The potential for a mega-eruption at Yellowstone is something that's been a subject of much debate and research among the scientific community. Such an event would be on a scale that's hard to comprehend. We're talking about the release of thousands of cubic kilometers of magma and ash in a single explosive event, enough to cover the whole of North America in a thin layer of ash. Now you might be wondering, what could possibly trigger such a cataclysmic event? Well, it's all down to the gigantic reservoir of molten rock that lies beneath Yellowstone. This magma chamber is continually replenished by the Earth's heat and the movement of tectonic plates. If the pressure within this chamber builds to a critical point, it could trigger an eruption of apocalyptic proportions. So why is such an eruption a concern for scientists? Well, aside from the immediate devastation and loss of life, a mega-eruption could have far-reaching effects on our planet's climate. The enormous amount of ash and gas released into the atmosphere could block out sunlight, leading to a drop in global temperatures, a phenomenon often referred to as a volcanic winter. Scientists are carefully monitoring Yellowstone for any signs of increased seismic activity and ground deformation, both of which could indicate a buildup of pressure within the magma chamber. Despite the extensive monitoring, predicting exactly when or even if a mega-eruption will occur remains an enormous challenge. A mega-eruption at Yellowstone isn't just a plot for a disaster movie. It's a scientific possibility that could change America forever. So, while we enjoy the beauty and wonder of Yellowstone today, we must also respect the immense power that lies beneath its surface, a power that could, in the blink of an eye, reshape the world as we know it. So what would happen if Yellowstone did explode? Let's start with the immediate effects. The explosion would be cataclysmic, with the surrounding area instantly obliterated. We're talking about a radius of hundreds of miles turned into an apocalyptic wasteland. The shockwave alone would cause massive destruction, not to mention the rain of molten rock and ash. Cities like Salt Lake City and Denver could be severely affected, and the loss of life? It's grim to think about, but it would be substantial. But the impact wouldn't stop at the immediate vicinity. The explosion would eject an enormous amount of ash into the atmosphere, spread by wind patterns across North America. This ash fallout could affect areas as far as 1,000 miles away, causing health hazards, disrupting transportation, and damaging infrastructure. And then there's the longer-term impacts. A Yellowstone explosion would have global consequences. The ash and gases released would block sunlight, leading to a drop in temperatures worldwide, a phenomenon known as a volcanic winter. This could last for years, even decades, affecting agriculture and leading to food shortages. The economic consequences would be staggering. Not only would there be the cost of immediate disaster response and cleanup, but also the long-term economic effects. The disruption to agriculture and other industries could lead to a severe economic downturn, not just in the United States, but potentially worldwide. Additionally, the national park, a major tourist attraction, would be gone, impacting local economies that rely on tourism. The loss of this natural wonder would also be a cultural blow, a loss of part of our natural heritage. In short, the impact of a Yellowstone explosion would be far-reaching and long-lasting. It would change the face of America, and indeed the world, in ways we can only begin to imagine. An explosion at Yellowstone has the potential to be one of the most significant natural disasters in American history, a reality we must face and prepare for.